Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
This is lightweight. Yes, he did. Unless you did. Yes, you did.
You did it.
Welcome to the podcast. Oh no, girl, yes. We're so happy for y'all to be here with us. Now, what we realize is a lot of times when we're talking, we have a Patreon account. And sometimes we tell stories in real time to Patreon that sometimes may or may not ever make it to our main channel. So I recently shared a video on my social media about the man who burnt up my grill. And we realized that we may have only shared that in real time with Patreon 2 years ago. And so we want to talk about my grill getting burnt up. But first of all, thank y'all for listening. Make sure you subscribe. If you are a new listener, welcome to the party. Again, Patreon is available. You can also watch this video on YouTube. It is the exact same audio that you can hear wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And don't forget to share and tell a friend. Do all the things. All right. So 2 years ago, around 4th of July, I had reconnected with my ex-boyfriend. And when I say ex-boyfriend, he was my ex from 17 years prior. He had been trying to get back with me for 17 years. I said no consciously for 17 years. 2020 hit, the pandemic hit. I thought we was all going to die. So I gave him a chance. And I didn't take long to remember why he had been my ex for 17 years. But when he resurfaced, he impressed you. He impressed you early on, correct?
He did.
Okay.
I had nothing, I didn't know him from 17 years ago.
You didn't know him from 17 years ago.
The guy who presented himself that day when I met him, or even before I even met him, when you introduced him to me, I was good.
Right. He had sent flowers. He was communicating. So at that point,
and again, we were in a pandemic.
We was in a pandemic.
So everything impressed us.
Everything impressed us in the pandemic, y'all. Let's just be clear. So I had left my job in March of 2020. The world ended in March of 2020, and he resurfaced around May of 2020. And I had some family stuff going. It was just a lot going on that it was the perfect storm for this person to get back in.
Right.
Anyway, he did what he had to do to get back in. And I thought I was in a good relationship. I actually had thought that because this man had tried to get back with me for 17 years, this must be the one. Like he had never gotten married, he had never had any tremendous significant relationship that I knew of. We still were connected via social media. We might would say hi bye a couple times a year, but I had really, and I say I convinced myself because I don't know if he convinced me of that. He told me that.
In hindsight, yes.
In hindsight, he told me that, but I think I had to have convinced myself that could have been true.
You were hesitant.
I was hesitant, but I'm always, and I also, in my defense, y'all, I've been sharing these little vignettes of that time I dated that guy. And it's a lot of them. And I don't know if we'll ever run out. And it's based on the podcast, and it's based on just me having memories of things and wanting to share these little clips on TikTok. But I usually know in real time when something ain't right. So, sometimes you can be in the midst of a relationship or be in love or be having all these feelings. And so it all makes sense when it's going on. And it's not until you're removed from it, you look back and say, wait a minute, that was crazy. Wait a minute, that didn't make sense. I will say in all my relationships, when it is crazy, I am saying, man, this just seems crazy to me. It seems crazy. But back then, and I would say back then, 2020 and last year too, 2021, when I was dating guys and I felt like this feels crazy to me, I had more than enough people to say, girl, that's just a relationship. Girl, that's just a man. Girl, that ain't nothing. My man do worse than that. Girl, that ain't no big deal. So even though I knew it was crazy to me, I had more than enough people to tell me it wasn't crazy enough. Okay. One of these people y'all looking at or listening to, that girl right there, she comes over to meet this guy who she's already a fan of. She's coming over to meet him for the first time in person. And he lived in another state, and he came to visit for 4th of July. And this other state was like a 14-hour drive away. He drove in. So again, all these things were like, he driving 14 hours, he is putting forth this effort. All right. So now the reason why this story came up last week is because I was grilling out, and I used to have an affection and attachment to men who had grills. that's a man's quote unquote gender thing. Like a lot of men on Father's Day got out the grill, or you bought your daddy grill accessories. And I've always loved when a man can grill and make good food. And then I realized I think I love the grills and not the men. And so I bought myself my own grill a few years ago, started teaching myself how to grill. One of my favorite things to do by myself. I will go outside, put on some music, the dogs run around, pour a margarita, and I'm having a party. 4th of July, I want to cook out for this guy to show him, oh yeah, let me show you my skills on my grill. And this man has driven 14 hours, said, no, I'm handling the grill. And I said, oh, brother, that's my grill.
New territory.
It's my grill. But again, people like the one y'all looking at or listening to over there was like, girl, let that man cook for you.
Now, who wouldn't have said that? Let's stop right there. What friend of ours wouldn't have said, man, he said he want to cook for you. Let that man cook for you.
To which I said, he's at my house. It's my grill. I'm hosting him.
He said he wanted to cook.
See, y'all hear this? So me going against my better mind, my preference, what I wanted to do, I allowed this man to cook on my grill. Now, didn't go well. So she's sitting here in my house and I'm watching this man build a fire in my grill. And y'all, I can tell by how and where he's building the fire, this is all bad. This is all bad. Now, a couple things. If you know about a grill, if you don't know about a grill, some grills have a smaller, look like a little baby grill on the side. It's actually a smoker, okay? And the reason why it's called a smoker is because sometimes you may not want your meat or your food over the direct heat on a grill. And so what you would do is you would still build a fire in the grill, but you would put your meats and items on the side. So that way it's just receiving the smoke and the heat versus the direct flames. You are not actually supposed to build a fire in the smoker. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. So when I see this man building a fire in the smoker, I said, no, that's not how that goes. And he said, I got this.
Go back in the house.
Go back in the house. And I said, hey. Now, and also let me say, my smoker was in pristine condition because I had never used it because I don't like smoked meats.
Right. Smoked
meats tend to be a little wet and pink for me. Like a smoked turkey or any kind of smoked meats, smoked chicken.
It's a preference that it's a different texture, different taste, all that.
I like my meat over the fire.
Grill.
I like my meat grilled. I want the char. I want the heat. I want it to be brown. Okay. So even then, I don't want my meat smoked. Let's go back to broccoli. I'm telling you, I don't like smoked meat, but I also don't need you to be building that fire in that smoker because that's not where fire goes. And he proceeds to build the fire, the hottest fire since Hades. Hades Part 2. Okay. I saw the devil. I heard a U-Haul backing up. The devil was trying to move in. He said, this is nicer. And I'm freaking out in the house the whole time. And my friend is sitting there looking at me. And I said, girl, she was recording. And she was recording me have a panic attack. Because I was so sincerely upset and hurt in real time. It wasn't like, oh, I got upset about the grill after we broke up.
No,
I was ready to break up about the grill. But my friend was there, and y'all, crazy has no reflection. And so in this time, I was still receiving other people's information as something that could potentially be useful to me. Her parents have been married 40 plus years, and she has probably more experience with seeing that type relationship up close. And I'm thinking, okay, she's like, girl, if that man burn that grill up, he burn that grill. He'll buy, I said, but girl, my grill is right next to my wooden deck. He gonna burn my whole, the way he is building this fire, the way this fire is raging out of control, he's gonna burn my whole house down. And it ain't worth it. And you kept saying, let that man burn it down. That's what she said. Is that what you said?
Yes. That's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said.
And why did you say that?
We were at a place in our lives where we were in this time frame, we were actually trying to explore our inner femininity. I think that was the thing we were going on. And at that time, we were equating our assertiveness and our leadership and all that as a masculine quality. We no longer do that. This is 2 years ago, but this was what we were doing then. And so we were both in a space where we were cognizant of that, of, taking control in relationships and having control of everything that happens in relationships. And that was just an exercise in allowing things to happen as they happen, which a lot of married couples will tell us that happens sometimes. Maybe not with the grill burning up, but just letting a man just do stupid things sometimes. And then
that was the chapter of that book.
It was a chapter. It was a chapter in a book that we were both subscribing to at the time.
Well, I wasn't subscribing to it. I was trusting that she had subscribed to it, and I'm going to lean on something.
But it was an experiment.
Because my mind is saying he's burning up my grill at my house.
It was an experiment. It was an experiment.
It was more of an experience than an experiment. Because I already knew it was gonna happen.
But I know. Go ahead. We'll talk. We'll
okay. So now in the moment that in real time, I'm literally upset, y'all. I'm literally upset because this is my grill that I purchased, that I put together, that I've been teaching myself how to grill on. And I'm very personal about my grill. I wanted to cook for him. He had driven 14 hours to come spend time with me. He is my guest. I want to show off. So the whole thing, I'm already bothered by it. Mm-hmm. But for him to then smoke meat, and the meat wasn't smoked, y'all. It was just raw. So you have to imagine if someone builds a fire that hot how hot do y'all think a fire has to be in a grill to destroy the grill? Grills are made for fire. Mm-hmm. They're not made for Hades. Mm-hmm. There's a difference. And so once he built Hades in my little smoker where no fire ever supposed to be. Amen. My friend said, let it burn it down. And I was so bothered. So when he came back in, and I think he gave us a taste of the meat or something like that.
I think I left shortly after.
Taste of this raw meat that's like wet and slimy. I mean, the chicken is pop locking. The chicken is red and wet. After being in Hades, how can you make a fire that hot and literally have wet, red chicken? Mm-mm. Anyway, moral of the story is we broke up. My grill is still out there, rusted, dusted, destroyed. Like I said, I had never used a smoker because I don't like smoked meats. But when I take the cover off my grill to use my grill, by spirit, I don't know who I be wanting to fight for, you or him. And I want to say you because I know he didn't know what he was doing. I know he don't have no sense, but I be looking to my friends to have some sense. I be looking for my friends to have sound counsel. I be looking for my friends to lead me in the right direction when I can't lead myself. And this is a glaring example of trust yourself. Know what you know, y'all.
What I will say.
Say what you will say.
This is what I will say.
Say what you will say.
I think in all relationships, there will be those challenges where you do have to be quiet. And he was clearly not the person to even give a little leeway to.
No.
I mean, clearly, because like they didn't break up because of that grill. No, that was an indicator of things to come that were never ever gonna work.
Why we had not been together for them 17 years. Why we had broke up 17 years before. Why I had said no for 17 years. The grill was really, really a very insignificant part of it.
Oh, child, because he had some.
We did not break up about the grill. That was July 4th. We didn't break up until November.
Right. Correct. You're right. I didn't realize it was that much further behind from that incident.
So that tells you what? Wait, hold on. Wait, everybody. If that was 4th of July, and we didn't break up until November, and you knowing me, you know what was happening.
there's a blur from July to November to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know exactly what happened. She had gone to visit him. He had come here a couple of times more. I mean, so it wasn't a lack. It really wasn't a lack of being in each other's presence. It was just he was. Yeah, I don't.
That's probably. But we probably got 4 more episodes. I think the episode we may have done 2 parts on this a year ago or 2 years ago when we broke up, and it was called "My Boyfriend Don't Like Me."
Yes.
He didn't like me, but he also is a stereotypical class case study of narcissist personality.
Right. Correct.
And when I tell you, like, if you Google narcissist, I could his picture will pop up.
Well, and y'all technically never really broke up, right? Like officially had a conversation that this is the end.
It's kind of like, how people be, somebody just celebrated, one of my Facebook friends said, today is my 22nd wedding anniversary. We've been separated for 20 years. He won't sign the papers. And it's like, ma'am.
I remember the day I don't know why I was pushing a grocery cart. I was in the grocery store and Eunice called me and she said, I'm pretty sure we're done. And when she told me how, I was like, well, y'all didn't have a conversation. No, we're done. And they were done. And it was the weirdest thing because they like, he was on some other.
He disappeared over, I feel like it was like,
it was right before Thanksgiving or
or something. Yeah, some kind of holiday weekend or something. Yeah. And we had already had a horrible time the last time he came to visit. Literal horrible time.
Oh yeah.
Somehow broke up, got back together.
Yeah.
Again, in real time, because I don't know where you were the last time he visited in November when I said it's over. Yeah. And somehow it went over then. Yeah. Should have been over then.
Oh no. Yeah, I remember she called me like that morning or something and said, yeah, we're done. And then within 24 hours, it was back on for a second.
It was back on. He left town. We were still together when he left town. Totally should not have been, everybody. I just want to be clear that when I text her, yeah, we're done. He actually broke up with me on that trip. I don't know if you remember that.
Uh-huh.
He broke up with me. I said, okay, cool. And about 10 minutes later, he said, I don't want to break up.
Should have been a sign. We should have recognized.
And I said, hey, that's not how this really works. You don't get to break up with me and then 10 minutes later say you don't want to break up. Like, I've got attached to the breakup.
Ooh,
is that about time? Hey, I get it. I remember I said, I'm not going to argue with you about this. And, and from talking through I'm not arguing with you about the breakup, it was, I don't want to break up. I'm like, and that still ended up after that. Still one of the worst times of my life. After we made up.
Did you even have a good time at all that weekend?
No.
When he came to visit that last time?
0%.
Was there any kind of bright light?
No, this is going to have to be a whole nother episode.
Okay, we're going to talk about it.
He came to my book signing, left my book signing, came back late, embarrassed me in front of his friend that shouldn't have been at dinner, was going to his mama's house, took me to his mama's house, not really.
Mm-hmm. Left the suitcase at the door like he was leaving.
The suitcase at the door. It was just a lot.
Yeah,
and I feel like we may have gone through a good bit of that, like to start season 3.
Okay.
But anyway, the point is, y'all, trust yourselves. It is always this thing where when married people, they say they should be around other married people to help support them in the challenges, and a single person can't tell you how to stay married, or, be around like-minded people, birds of a feather, all that. But y'all, sometimes these birds will have you like a clucking fool. And this bird on that day, this bird that I hear, this bird or this fella.
If it did not turn out to be such a narcissist, who knows?
Well, I always say if my aunt had balls, she'd be mom. Anyway.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So what I learned then, again, keep in mind, that was 2020. I still had to really, really learn it about 3 more good times in 2021.
Very much.
I had to learn it 3 more. So I learned that in 2020. I knew that was not who I was supposed to be with. I knew I didn't feel right about things that were happening as they were happening. I communicated. I'm not one of those girls that will lie about what's happening to make it sound better so my friends don't judge me. I'm like, I don't know, girl. This kind of feel crazy to me. And I will talk through it and we'll kind of bounce the ideas off each other. And again, the programming then told us something wrong with us. So we be trying to figure out how we can do something different, how we can fix something about ourselves. Well, you know what? And then maybe if we try, it'll literally never again. I dated 3 more losers in 2021. And after the last loser in 2021, and if you follow me on social or my TikTok, you've seen that would be the last loser of 2021 was the dwarf, the 6-foot dwarf. At that point, I realized it's not me. It is literally not me. Now, what's interesting is a lot of men that may follow me on social media might not listen to the podcast. So be aware of the podcast. I don't think they would listen to the podcast, but they all up in the comments of these little 1-minute vignettes of one time I dated a guy. And it's interesting how these men, the comments these men make, like, oh, I don't know where you're meeting these guys. America. Oh, what kind of guys are you dating?
The same ones you hang out with on the weekend.
That you. I had this one guy say, oh, and the guys like this keep getting a chance when, oh, it was the video about the guy who compared returning a text message to a military troop withdrawal. And a guy commented and said, guys like this, how do guys like this get a chance? And I said, lies, deception, and misrepresentation. That's pretty much. And he says, meanwhile, good men like me. And I didn't respond to him because I didn't want him to take it personal, but I wanted to say, and the number one misrepresentation, deception, and lie is a good guy like me.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they usually say.
Mm-hmm.
So be clear. So it ain't like I'm not somewhere picking men from the don't pick these men file. I tend to date attractive, successful, available men. Mm-hmm. I'm not somebody that's I'm not in the side chick category. Right. I'm not dating men that's trying to keep me a secret. Now, even though they still might be doing whatever, I be the girl. I be the girlfriend. Do you have anything to say for yourself as we close out this episode? No. Anything you would do differently? You got me congested.
Honestly, I don't think I would. I know what my mindset was during that time. And I'm not sure. I haven't thought much about like in the real time of him burning up. I mean, after he burned it up, it was burned up then.
It was literally burnt up then. Literally burnt up then.
Oh. He was and the narcissism is so apparent, obviously, with our 2020 vision in hindsight. But he was so adamant about cooking. And I think I remember thinking, like, let's not ruin our weekend, because I'm taking part, right? Let's not ruin our weekend with, like, if you want to cook, just let him cook.
Yeah. Dang. And that was her same energy. Girl, let him cook. And it was like, I was feeling ridiculous well, why would I not want him to cook? And this is
at the same time, but we didn't know he couldn't. He really, really couldn't cook at all. Like, no, like this. If he was so adamant about it, I'm like, well, what's the worst that can happen? He burned the meat up? No.
Well, let me say, this man has cooked for me before, and he had cooked since. He cooked when I went to visit him. I've never known him to be a bad cook. This was just a situation where I don't know if he wasn't good on the grill, or
he wasn't. Yeah. And
it was just something just bad.
Yeah.
Someone right.
Yeah, it wasn't right at all.
I will say, because I did another video, the video about the guy in the broccoli. That guy didn't cook well and had never cooked before and should not have been cooking for nobody's dinner or for nobody's birthday. This guy had cooked before 17 years prior. And I remember on our first time he cooked me dinner at his house, he made me a little to-go thing for lunch, and it was delicious. So he was always a good cook. I don't know what that grill, the 4th of July was.
I don't know what. He was trying to impress, and it just.
I don't know what happened. Between messing up my grill, serving me raw meat that I told him I don't like smoke. Again, go back to the broccoli. Hey, I don't really like cooked broccoli, and so it goes back to this narcissist. And I know all men think women call all men narcissists, but the way straight men are raised in America, you generally will probably
I know what's best for you, but you don't, because I'm telling you.
You're trying to be in control, and I'm like, but I'm telling you what I like.
And what I don't like specifically.
What I don't like I'm a big age. Like I can really give you good information about me. And so when a man still will tell you, or not even tell you, go do what they think you should appreciate, will do what they think you should be happy with, versus what you are literally telling them. The loser number 3 from last year, I remember he wanted to be with me. Oh, I want to be with you. I said, well, just give me a call so we can talk. Literally would not call. That man did not call me for a month. I said, but hey, just give me a call. I'm telling you what I need you to do for us to try to work this out is just give me a call. And he would, and in real time, I'm saying to my friend, I'm saying, call me. I'm saying, call me. You ain't called me in a month. You keep saying, I want to be with you. I'm saying you obviously don't. You won't call. And y'all, he did not call me, y'all.
Now, I didn't make no excuses for that one, though, because that don't make sense to me.
And then also, you was over everybody after.
Right, at that point, I was done anyway.
After this,
actually, I was done after the grill guy.
Yeah, you were done.
The next guy you dated, I could care. I did not want to meet him. I did not want to hear about him. I was done.
And I think that's been the case for the last 3 last year.
Yeah.
And so I think you have a greater appreciation for when I say I'm done, from being up close. It's like, seriously, literally, if you don't even want to hear about another one, I can't even do it because they all come packaged as attractive, successful, and who present one thing at the beginning. And I say, really? You sure? And they say, yeah. And I say, okay, let's see. And then the shenanigans ensue. And I used to be somewhere trying to figure out, well, wait, this feels crazy. This don't feel right. This don't match nothing. I don't like it. We're done. We're good on that, guys. So anyway, that's the story of the grill. It's her fault. Just want to give a little bit more context in case we had never put that on the main channel. That was 2 years ago. That was that grand opening, grand closing kind of love. And I did remember vividly. And again, all the things, y'all, I rode 14 hours. He rode 14 hours to go visit him. And we had one more day together. And the morning that we woke up of that one more day, and I was going to leave the next day, I said, okay, this is our last day. We're going to do it. He says, oh, you think you can get a flight to leave today?
Yeah, I remember that too. That didn't.
I mean, what? And you know how I rationalized that? 1, I was able to get a flight to leave that day. But 2, I have a good life to come home to. So I'm always ready to go home. I was like, who asked you, who is trying to be with you and spend time with you and ask you to leave them a day early? And y'all, why he wanted me to leave a day early? Because his fraternity was doing a service project the next morning.
Yeah. I remember.
Baby, we didn't break up after that.
I remember that. That was actually early on.
That was in August.
Because that's when y'all drove. That was when he because you thought it was just gonna be a conversation. He was like, no, I want to be with you. Period.
Yeah, on that 14-hour drive, he asked me to be his girlfriend officially. You the woman of my dreams. All these years I've known I was gonna have to get you back because
then insert SpongeBob 3 days later.
She was too stunned to speak.
You still here? Oh, can you think you can get a flight today?
You're the woman of my dreams, and I want to spend my life with you. You still here? You know what? I think that will become a video. Thank you for reminding me. Hey, we gotta wrap this up. But let me tell y'all, my friends be reminding me of some of my greatest hits. I didn't forgot. I got friends in the comments. Oh, you got to tell the one about this. And I'm like, oh Lord, girl, but you right. I need to do one time.
No, I think people think you be making this stuff up, and it's
people
not.
Think I be making this stuff up.
That's why when you did the real thing, I had to provide the video evidence for that, and I posted on the OhNoGirl page too. But that was an actual. These are actual stories. They're
she was
not
filming me have that comma part.
Yes, and you can see her face when that flame, went up in the air. See the moment
you can see the people on the International Space Station's face when the flame went into the air. It should show up on satellite. ISS called America and said, "Is America on fire?" And the meat was wrong. Anyway, y'all, I have no reason to make up the shenanigans, but I am going to start making notes so I can remember.
Right.
But that's a good one. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. 3 days later, could you leave now? That happened.
Oh my God. That did
Y'all better be glad I got a good sense
in that time span. It did.
It is. And then when I say that was in August and we did not break up until November, we still ain't talked about the breakup. One weekend he disappeared, did not return phone calls, did not call, did not text. By the time he reached back out, I'm like, bruh, what that look like? Where they do that at? He was like, oh, it's not like that. I'm like, not like what? I didn't say nothing. It was like you did not call or return. Anyway, I decided that day.
It was when he bought the car.
Yes, he bought the car. This was a Tuesday. Look at her bringing it up. It was a Tuesday, y'all. I ain't heard from this man since Friday. And it was a Tuesday. And he said, oh, I bought a car Saturday. Y'all at that point, I was like, oh, for real? So he said he had to call me right back so we could finish talking. And he didn't call back that whole day. And I said to her, I'm done with this. I'm good. I'm good. He called that night. And y'all, I was playing on my phone and I accidentally answered the phone. I wouldn't have answered the phone. I didn't mean to. Okay. But we did not say one word to each other. I was texting her while we were on the phone. I said, we have been on the phone for 7 minutes and no one has said anything. We have been on the phone for 9 minutes. We sat on that phone for 10 minutes because when he called, he's like, hey. I was like, hey. And we sat there and then I say one word for 10 minutes. So then he says, well, I was just calling. I just wanted to hear my girlfriend's voice. I said, okay. Hung up. I knew I was never going to talk to this man again.
That's when she called me. I was in the grocery store.
For me, I said, I will never call this person. I will never text this person. I will never answer another phone call. Now, I did not say that to him. Mm-hmm. Do y'all know that man never called me and never texted me again? Mm-hmm. And this was my boyfriend. So that's why she says we never broke up. That's why she says we never broke up. This year, so that was November 2020. I've never heard from this man again. He was my boyfriend. We didn't have a conversation to break up. I just knew. I said I ain't never talking to this man again, and he never called me or texted me again. March of this year, that same man sent me a picture of a dog that I used to have. That dog I used to have has been dead for 6 years. He sent me a picture this March and said, I just ran across this. And he sent me a picture of my dog that has been dead for 6 years because, keep in mind, 17 years ago is when I had got the dog. Mm-hmm. Amen. Of course, I did not respond, acknowledge, and I sent it to my friends. I was, y'all, but can't make this up. That might be a whole nother video. One time this man was my boyfriend and I didn't hear from him in 2 years. Then he sent me a picture of my dead dog. Mm-hmm. Anyway, guys. You think I got a good sense of humor and that I'm a forgiving, loving friend. I'm sure friendships have ended for much less. Don't talk your friends into crazy when it's crazy. Let them know it's crazy and say, girl, trust yourself. I'm with you. I'm gonna back you up on this. Woo. I know crazy ain't got no reflection. Back me up on it. Okay. Until next time, guys. Oh no, they didn't.
Girl, yes, he did. He did that, girl.
He did too.